Intro, they say time heals everything, but time alone doesn't bring her back. It's not waiting that makes her return, it's who you become while waiting. Ryan Holiday once said, "The obstacle is the way." And when it comes to love, heartbreak, and loss, the obstacle is you. Your emotions, your obsession, your lack of control. That's where Stoicism begins, not with suppressing pain, but understanding it. When she walked away, something inside you broke. You thought love was a straight line. That connection meant permanence. But the truth is, nothing belongs to us, not even the people we love. The Stoics believed that every attachment carries within it a seed of suffering. And yet, they also believed in discipline, integrity, and self-mastery, the power to transform pain into purpose. This is not about chasing her. This is about becoming the man she never thought she'd lose, because the universe doesn't reward desperation. It rewards transformation. You cannot attract her back from weakness. You attract her back by standing so deeply in your strength that she feels the difference without a single word from you. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. That's the key. Not text, not manipulation, not begging for her attention. Control your mind and everything else follows. In this speech, you'll learn not just how to get her back, but how to become so grounded, so unshakable, that she finds herself drawn to your peace, the same peace she couldn't find in herself. So listen carefully, not as a man chasing validation, but as a man walking toward mastery. Because when you truly rise, when you transform your pain into calm power, when you embody peace instead of seeking it, she will feel it. And when she feels it, she will come back. The power of detachment. Ryan Holiday often reminds us, ego is the enemy. And in love, ego is what keeps most men stuck. When she left, your mind started racing. What did I do wrong? Is she seeing someone else? Can I fix this? Those thoughts, and they are not love. They are fear. Fear of rejection, fear of losing control, fear of being alone. Stoicism teaches you to separate what you can control from what you cannot. Can you control her emotions? No. Can you control what she feels, who she talks to, or where she goes? No, but you can control your reaction. You can control your thoughts. You can control your energy. When you stop reacting, you start attracting. Because silence is louder than begging. Peace is more powerful than persuasion. When you detach, you stop sending her the message that you need her. You start showing her that you are whole without her. And paradoxically, that's when attraction begins again. The Stoics didn't run from pain, they sat with it. They studied it. They turned it into wisdom. So if you're hurting, don't numb it with distractions, with alcohol, or with false hope. Face it, because every emotion you master makes you more magnetic. Women feel energy, not words. And your energy right now either screams desperate or whispers unmoved. Become unmoved. That doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop chasing. Because detachment isn't about indifference. It's about strength. You must learn to live as if she's never coming back. And in doing so, you create the very energy that draws her back in. You rise. You rebuild. You become. And when she sees that evolution, that calm, confident power, she'll feel the loss. Not because you punished her, but because you grew beyond the version of yourself she once knew. That's detachment. Not coldness, not arrogance, just peace, a peace earned through discipline. The transformation. She can't ignore. Ryan Holiday says, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." You imagine she's gone forever. You imagine she's happier without you. But most of the suffering comes not from what happened, but what you think about what happened. Your job now isn't to wait for her. It's to rebuild your frame. Become the man who's too focused on growth to be stuck in pain. Go to the gym, not for revenge, but for strength. Read, not to distract yourself, but to understand yourself. Wake up early. Meditate. Write. Reflect. Become intentional. Because when you become intentional, everything about you changes. Your posture, your voice, your energy. And women feel that. They sense when a man has reclaimed his purpose, when he's no longer orbiting around them, but around his own mission. That's the kind of man she can't ignore. Because attraction is not logical and it's energetic. It's not about words and it's about presence. Every text you don't send. Every moment you choose calm over chaos. Every second you redirect your focus from her to your own mastery. You're shifting the balance of power. You're showing her, without saying a word, that you are no longer the man she walked away from. You are the man who grew because of it. That's the paradox of Stoicism and love. When you no longer need her, that's when she needs you. When you no longer chase her, that's when she starts remembering your value. Because women aren't drawn to men who crumble under pressure. They're drawn to men who rise through it. So stop trying to make her come back. Start becoming the man she can't forget, and trust me, when you do this, really do this, when you reclaim your peace, your purpose, your inner fire, she will feel it. And when she does, she will come back. The stillness that attracts her soul. It's the word most men never understand, and yet, it's the one thing that changes everything. Ryan Holiday wrote an entire book about it. Stillness is the key. And when you've lost someone you love, stillness isn't easy. It feels like torture. Your thoughts scream at you. Your heart demands answers. You want to act, to fix, to explain. But the Stoics knew that action born of emotion leads to regret. When you're restless, you make mistakes. You text her when you shouldn't. You overthink what she's doing, where she's going, who she's with. You let your mind become a battlefield. But when you choose stillness, something sacred happens. You stop feeding chaos with your attention. You start observing your own pain like a scientist observing a storm. Detached, curious, calm. The storm doesn't stop because you fight it. It stops because you become the eye of it. That's the Stoic way. Not to suppress your feelings, but to let them pass through you without losing yourself in them. Because what you resist persists, but what you allow to move through you transforms you. And that transformation, that inner calm, is magnetic. Stillness is not weakness. It's presence. It's the quiet power of a man who knows his worth even when no one is validating it. It's the energy of a man who doesn't chase, because he knows what he offers. When you are still, you become unpredictable. You become mysterious again. You become the version of yourself she first fell for. The man who didn't need her but chose her. Because here's the truth. Attraction fades when predictability grows. But when a man reclaims his mystery, his peace, his silence, his focus, he awakens the natural curiosity of a woman's heart. She starts wondering, what changed? Why does he seem so calm? Why does he look different? And those questions are powerful, because they reawaken the emotional connection you lost. You see, stillness is not about doing nothing. It's about doing the right things and without desperation. You grow quietly. You improve privately. You rise silently. And one day, when she sees you again in your calm, collected, confident state, she won't see the man who begged for her. She'll see the man who found himself, and in that moment, she'll feel something deeper than nostalgia. She'll feel respect. And where respect goes and attraction follows. The rebuilding of the masculine frame. The world doesn't teach men how to rebuild after heartbreak. It teaches them how to escape. Get drunk, get even, move on fast. but the Stoic man does the opposite. He rebuilds not to prove her wrong, but to prove himself right. Ryan Holiday often says we can't control what happens, but we can control how we respond. That's what rebuilding is, in a disciplined response to loss. You were broken? Fine, now rebuild stronger. Your mornings become sacred again. No more waking up and checking your phone for her name. Now you wake up and check your soul. You run, you journal, you meditate, you breathe. Every rep in the gym becomes a prayer. Every page of a book becomes a weapon. Every quiet night becomes an investment in the man you're becoming. This is not revenge. This is rebirth. Women don't come back to men who lose themselves. They come back to men who found themselves after losing everything. Because that kind of man radiates confidence that cannot be faked. You rebuild your frame, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Not to attract her, but to attract peace. And peace is irresistible. When you stand tall, when you speak slowly, when you walk with purpose, you're sending a silent message. I am no longer controlled by emotion. That is the essence of masculine energy. Direction, calm, discipline. And that is what the feminine craves most deeply. When she left, she didn't want to destroy you. She wanted to feel your strength. But you lost it in the chaos. Now you reclaim it. You stop reacting. You stop posting to get attention. You stop comparing your pain to her peace. You start living again, not to show her, but to show yourself. That's what Stoicism is about. The return to reason, the return to strength, the return to purpose. So every time you think about her, redirect that thought. Turn longing into fuel. Turn memories into motivation. Turn pain into progress. Because you're not the man who lost her anymore. You're the man who found himself because of her. And that version of you, and the disciplined, calm, grounded version, is the version that commands respect, desire, and love naturally. The paradox of letting go, letting go. It sounds simple, but it's the hardest thing a man can do. Because to let go means to surrender the illusion of control. You want her to come back. I know. You replay moments, words, smiles, all in your head. You think if you wait long enough, she'll realize what she lost. But here's the Stoic truth. She can't come back to the same man she left. She can only come back to the man you become. Ryan Holiday teaches that acceptance is the foundation of peace. You can't heal while resisting reality. You can't move forward while wishing things were different. The pain you feel now isn't punishment. It's the universe forcing growth. When you truly let go, when you stop needing her, stop waiting for her, stop trying to force fate, you make room for something far more powerful. Alignment. Because love isn't lost, it's transformed. And sometimes that transformation leads her back to you. Other times it leads you somewhere even better. But either way, you win. You win when you stop chasing. You win when you stop begging. You win when you trust that what's meant for you will return in divine timing. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering with peace instead of pain. And ironically, it's only when you no longer need her that she'll finally feel drawn to you again. Because women don't come back for comfort, they come back for certainty. They come back when they sense your calm is real. So let go, not to move on, but to move up. To rise to a higher version of yourself. To embody the strength that makes you unforgettable. When she sees that version and when she feels your serenity instead of your sorrow, something inside her shifts. Because peace is attractive. It's rare. It's powerful. And that's the paradox of Stoicism. The moment you no longer need what you want is the moment it returns to you. So let go, not because you stopped loving her, but because you started loving yourself. The discipline of emotional mastery pain is not the enemy. The undisciplined response to pain, as Ryan Holiday reminds us, you don't control the world, but you control how you meet it. When heartbreak strikes, the average man loses control of his emotions. He lets anger drive his actions, loneliness dictate his nights, and nostalgia rewrite his memories. But the Stoic man, the disciplined man, understands that emotion is data, not direction. He feels everything, but he obeys nothing. You see, mastery isn't numbness, it's awareness. It's the ability to stand inside the fire without being consumed by it. When she triggers you, breathe. When your mind tells you to reach out, pause. When sadness creeps in, witness it, don't become it. Because every moment of restraint strengthens your inner fortress. Every moment you choose silence over reaction adds another brick to your foundation. And that foundation, unshakable composure, is what women sense as masculine power. They test it unconsciously. They feel it instantly, and they respect it deeply. Emotional mastery is not about pretending. It's about being so present that no storm can pull you out of alignment. That's when you become magnetic. Not because you're cold, but because you're centered. You no longer mirror chaos. You reflect calm. So let your emotions move through you like waves. Rise and fall, but return to the shore of stillness every time. Each time you master a trigger, you become freer. And that freedom, that quiet confidence, is the one thing she cannot find in anyone else. Because men who chase control her world, but men who control themselves, they shape it. The return of power, you've walked through the fire. You've faced your reflection without flinching. You've learned that peace is not given, it's earned. And now you stand on the other side, not the man who lost, but the man who learned. This is where true attraction begins. Because the energy of a man at peace is irresistible. He doesn't chase, he chooses. He doesn't fear loss, and he understands it's part of life. He doesn't cling. He connects from abundance, not emptiness. Ryan Holiday teaches that the obstacle becomes the way. Your heartbreak was the obstacle. Your transformation, that's the way. You stopped trying to control her feelings. You started controlling your own. You stopped asking when she'd come back. You started asking, who am I becoming? And that question changes everything. Because when you walk in alignment with purpose, peace, and patience, people feel it. She feels it. Maybe she returns, maybe she doesn't. But you're no longer waiting. You're walking. You're building. You're living. And if she does come back, and it won't be because you begged, it'll be because you became undeniable. The man who no longer needs validation, that's the man every woman respects. The man who commands peace, well, that's the man every heart seeks. You are that man now. The Stoic comeback, so listen closely. If you take one lesson from this journey, let it be this. You never lose when you rise. You never fail when you grow. You never chase when you know your worth. She may come back, and when she does, it will be to a different man. A man who no longer reacts but reflects. A man who no longer seeks love to feel whole but offers love because he is whole. That's the secret. That's the real Stoic comeback. Because getting her back isn't the victory. Becoming the man you were meant to be, that's the victory. And when you embody that truth, calm, grounded, unshakable, life itself begins to return everything you once lost. Not because you forced it, but because you finally became ready for it. So rise, rebuild. Remember, the obstacle was the way all along.